Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe with Finish Line Studio, and here we are in our brand new studio in Portland, Oregon. I moved from Sacramento to Portland, and I'm sorry I haven't uploaded anything in the last 6 months. I'm planning to get back on more of a filming schedule, but I have been working on renovating this house for the last 6 months. We bought a house in Portland. It was a decent house, but it needed a lot of work. So I put down my pencil and my mouse, and I picked up a drill, a hammer, a scraper, sandpaper, lots of other tools and tried to do my house. Maybe I'll take you guys on a tour one of these days, but this studio is not quite done yet. I want to do something with this wall. I want to feature a lot of my art and my design pieces on this wall, so maybe I'll make a video out of that in the future, so stick around for that. But today we have a new branding project to work on, and I'm very excited about it. Some dear friends of mine are opening a Pilates studio in downtown Martinez, and they want a brand that's going to appeal to 30 plus women, but also they don't want to turn men away because they will eventually start offering classes for men. The Pilates studio is a reformer studio, which apparently involves a thing called a reformer table. It looks very difficult. I've looked into it a little bit, but they want the brand to have like a Zen vibe, and they want to appeal obviously to women, also men a little bit. So we'll see what we can do. Reformed is the name of the studio, Reformed Pilates. So they want it to kind of symbolize rebirth, a reset, and they're opening right around December. So we want to give them something that will appeal to people that are making New Year's resolutions, so that they have their classes booked out solid for their grand opening. With that, let's jump into the computer, review my notes, maybe do a little research about Pilates, and start exploring concepts and ideas that might work for this. So come along and let's make another great design. Hopefully great. Who knows? I don't know. I never know with these things. So let's go. Okay, so I'm kind of starting by pulling in some of the fonts that I think might work for this. She mentioned that she wants a modern, like, sans serif, more feminine font. So I'm trying some of that. I pulled in some sans serif too, and now I'm just grabbing some images of some Pilates poses involving the reformer table, so that I can see some of these shapes and see if they might work for an R. I have this idea of making an R out of a Pilates pose. So I'm just tracing these shapes and trying to make this work. I'm not really going for perfection here. I just want to see what it looks like. The perspective on this one doesn't really work for me because it looks kind of skewed and distorted when you take it away from the surrounding image. So I'm trying a new pose now, and I like this pose. It kind of looks like an R, but in its current form, it kind of looks like clip art. So I'm going to continue to work this out and see what it looks like. I don't really like it. Maybe it's the font, maybe it's the no color, but I have this idea. I'm gonna try to just bring in the basic shapes of this pose and turn it into sort of an R mark that could work with this logo. So I'm just tracing some of the larger shapes in here, her leg and her arm, and then I'm gonna smooth this out as much as I can. I'm not going for perfection. If it does work, then I will balance and resize everything and make it work, perfectly and scientifically. But for now, I'm just tracing the shapes, and I like kind of the contour of the leg. It kind of invokes the body form. So I'm keeping those in for now, but I might smooth them out a little later on. And here I am again by the fireplace, being sad in the middle of the project. If you know me, if you've watched my videos before, you know that this always happens. At this point in the project, I've gotten out all my terrible ideas. I think that's where projects always start. We always start by getting out all the garbage first, but I really start to not believe in myself at this point. What am I doing? Why am I a designer? I'm a terrible designer. I hate my work. Is Home Depot hiring? Should I go work at Home Depot? because I suck at design. That's what I always feel like at this point. I'm sure that if you're a designer, you go through the same thing at this point in all of your projects. So I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to get out my pad and my pencil, and I'm going to start over, essentially. I'm going to go back to my desk, and we'll see if we can come up with something better, something that's actually good, because that design was horrible. So, and I know it was. If you're watching this, if you've gotten this far, know that I hope it's going to get better. So let's go back to the drawing board and start over. I'm going to sit by the fireplace here and be sad for a little while longer, and then we'll get started again. Here I am back at my desk with my trusty notepad. I'm just writing the brand name at the top and writing the letter R, so I'm reminded of what I'm doing. I'm inspired by this Pilates pose here, and I'm not a figure artist, so don't judge me, but I'm just trying to get the basic body shape down on paper so I can overlay an R on top of it and see if I can make an R that invokes this pose. And I'll go to a nice clean page now and see if I can sketch out the R shape and see if it still sort of represents this pose. And I really like these organic curves and lines, and now I'm going to make it a little darker and see if I can't scan it in to Illustrator and make something out of this. I think this looks really good. Okay, so I have brought the image into Illustrator and done an image trace on it. Now I'm just going to outline it with the pen tool, and I want to see if I can get these curves almost exactly right and almost perfectly balanced so that I can actually see what this logo might look like. I think it's looking pretty damn good. I think I'm going to end up going with this. I want to stretch it out just a little bit, and I want to pull the top of the R over the circle that represents the head a little bit so that it represents the letter R a little bit better. And then I'm going to go ahead and grid this out a little bit. I want to use the Poppins font on this because it is a Google font. It's free, it's widely available, so that my client can easily build their website and any marketing they might want to build. This is looking really cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and try to bring in some color. I'm thinking a nice like blue to pink gradient on this will be cool. There is a tool that I use. There's just a quick clip of it here, but it's called mycolor.space. It's a free tool, and what you do is you upload a color into it, and then it suggests other colors that might match that. I use this tool a lot. It's kind of a cheat. So I brought in the color green that she had for her mats, and then I put the color code into the website and it recommended some colors. So now I've got these blues, these pinks that sort of go with this green color. I'm not sure that the pink overlaying the green really works. So I'm just trying to come up with other color options while I build this color palette out. And then I just want to sort of explore how this brand might look in different lockups, in different colors, so that I can start to build a presentation and really sell this brand to the client. I really like the shape of the logo and the way it looks. I think it's very modern, it's very cool, it's very zen, which you wanted to invoke. It also screams Pilates to me because you can sort of see the yoga or Pilates pose within the shape. So I'm messing around and just trying to figure out how this might look. I want to create a square lockup for this because I have a really cool mock-up that goes on sort of a sign for an old building, so I know I want to use that. And then whenever I'm presenting these concepts to a client, I always want to build a really nice presentation to really sell the client on the concept. So I'm going to bring in my branding for the cover page so that they don't get any glimpses of what's coming. And then I'm just bringing in my notes from our initial call and then putting them on this page to sort of remind them about the brand theme. So I'll talk a little bit about that. And then on the next page, I'm going to put what my inspiration was. So sort of this Pilates pose plus the R equals the design that I made. So I think that looks really cool. I think that's a really cool reveal as a presentation. And I've actually received a text from Rena today asking if I'm available to present the design and the concept that I came up with, because I did tell her that I was just about ready. So I am going to hop on a call with her a little bit later. So I want to create some really cool mock-ups to show her what this might look like in real life. So I'm putting it on a water bottle here. I've used the offset path tool to sort of create this like die cut sticker look. And then I've created this sweater mock-up that I want to also put in here, but I want to create this sign right now that I'm using this Photoshop mock-up tool to create, and I think that looks really cool. I think the brand will look really cool in real life. I can really see it on like fitness clothing, which is always where my mind goes, is like hoodies, sweatshirts, pants, that kind of thing. So I'm just giving her some color options, and I think I'm just about ready to present this. So I'll clean this presentation up a little bit, and then I will hop on a call with her a little bit later and go over it. Okay, so it looks like Rena is ready, and I'm gonna jump on this call and show her the brand. Hello, how's it going? Okay, so I made a few slides here to kind of show you what I'm thinking. I only made one concept, but I really like it, and I hope you do too. You wanted the word reform kind of represents rebirth or resetting, which is kind of inherent in the word, but kind of wanted to incorporate some of that into the design. Colors, I included the colors that you mentioned, targeting 30 plus women who want to get or stay in shape. You wanted to skew a little bit more feminine, but you will eventually offer classes for men, so we don't want to go like this is a girls only club. The design should have a Zen vibe was something that you sent me, so I put that in here and I incorporated it as well into the design. As soon as I started this project, I just had this idea of like incorporating the R of reformed into some sort of pose. I thought that would be really cool. Came up with something really cool, and this is the design. It's this very same like pose, but incorporated into an R with some nice like Zen colors. And then the whole logo looks like that. And I chose this really like modern sans serif typeface that works really well. This is what the brand could look like in real life. I have a sign here, a little die cut sticker on a water bottle, what like a sweater could look like with the brand navy blue. And then here's some different color options. I chose a color palette that included the greens, the blues, the pops of pink, and sort of bright blue. And then I incorporated these like greens and blues that kind of go together. So there's like two sides to the color palette. It's kind of like there's like a feminine combination of colors and then like a more masculine combination of colors that you could use for different things. Typography, I use Poppins for everything. This is a Google font. So this font is available everywhere. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to have a license for it. When you do your web design, it should be available to use. So this is just a very diverse font. And then I have different weights and different trackings for different things. For the headlines, you can space the letters out. I set the tracking at 256. I think that looks really good. You can see in my headline, it's just a medium weight with the tracking set to 256. There's just a little more space in between the letters. And then for subheadlines, I put that in a semi-bold with no tracking. And then the body font would just be regular with no tracking. This is what a business card could look like. For the next couple steps, I'll send you this document and you can look at it with KT, think about it for a few days. And then once the brand is finalized, once we've gone through all the changes and everything's final, I'll organize everything into a file that'll have everything you need for print, everything you need for digital use. I'll also create a set of brand guidelines that'll go over the typography, the colors, the logo, you know, how the logo is supposed to be spaced, all that kind of stuff, so that if you ever work with anybody else or you want to make something quick yourself, you can use those brand guidelines and everything will look consistent and branded. Feel free to take your time, sit with it for a little while, think about it. All right. You're welcome. Bye. That went pretty well. I think that they like the design concept, and hopefully we don't have to change too much about it. So thank you for coming along with me on this journey, watching me constantly second guess myself. That was my entire design process. If you like this, if you like watching me fail and then recover, keep watching. I have some really cool videos planned for the future that I'm working on now. Really excited about it. So stay tuned and we'll see you next time.